Good evening, one and all. We welcome you to the International Webinar Series. Just a second. Good evening, one and all. We welcome you to the International Webinar Series on Holistic Health, Wellbeing and Sustainable Development 2022, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 75 years of independence, and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute and Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our session, let's take the blessings of Almighty. With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's session. Today we have with us Ms. Shraddhanjali Das Gupta, counseling psychologist and queer mental health practitioner from West Bengal, India. She has MS degrees in specialization in psychotherapy from Institute of Behavioral Sciences, PGDPC degree specialization in counseling from Institute of Behavioral Science, qualified for Montessori teaching training, MCC degree course from School of Life Skills and Indian Heritage, consultant psychologist. She worked at various positions, consultant psychologist in Spandan Hospital, and consultant psychologist in Sharada Multi-Specialty Hospital, and online consultant psychologist in MindYog, worked at various positions at various organizations. We welcome you, ma'am, for this wonderful international webinar series for your session on mental health and associated stigma. Over to you for your session. You can start your audio and video and presentation.
Thank you so much, sir, for a lovely introduction on myself. So, am I allowed to share my PPT?
Yeah, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Okay, so I'm sharing it. Sir, is my PPT clearly visible?
Yes, ma'am. Please continue.
Okay. So, wonderful evening to all the participants out in this group. So, today I have chosen this topic, mental health and associated stigma, on few reasons. Like World Mental Health Day is on 10th October, and recently we have passed World Suicide Day, which was on 10th September. So, I would like to say what is mental health and what are the associated stigmas with mental health. So, my first slides go, why is mental health? What is mental health? Like we all know, we have some physical health also. So mental health includes our emotional and social well-being. It affects our daily life, the way we think, the way we act in our daily life, and the way we feel what others says. And mental health is also important in various aspects of life, starting from childhood till the adolescence, till the day we stay, and till the day we don't die. So it's very important to give a little bit importance of on our mental health as well as on our physical health. So what are now the next is, what are the factors which is contributing to our mental health issues? Number one is, most important is our family life or the family history, like our genetic history, the past history, our lifestyles, our life experiences, as well as our brain chemistry or the pathological diseases which we go on. Then what are the types of mental health disorder? In various clinics I have worked and still I'm on the ways, I get people from various disorder. They're in, as per ICD, which is the Indian Classification of Diseases, and DSM, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorder, there are more than 300 mental health disorder listed. Some of the various common groups of mental health disorders are anxiety disorder, eating disorder, personality disorder, mood disorder, eating disorder, depression, anxiety, and PTSD, which is right now very common in day-to-day life. Then, what what are the mental health professionals? Like there are being quite questioned that whom to visit when we are suffering from certain problem. There are psychiatrists in our team. There are eminent psychiatrists, eminent clinical psychologists, counselors, psychiatric social worker, special educator, psychiatric nurse, rehabilitation psychologist, and clinical psychologist, and other professions also. Then, whom we can call as a psychiatrist? The one who have completed MBBS with a specialization in psychiatry and behavioral disorder, or a MD or a DPM, that is Diploma in Psychiatric Medicine. Now, the most important is clinical psychologist. As per the ICI guidelines, the clinical psychologist are the one who is having an RCI registration number from the Rehabilitation Council of India, and the main work of the clinical psychologist is only to assess and do psychometric test. Who and next is, who are the counselors? Counselors can also be our parents, they can also be our teachers. Certain things or certain education is not required to be a counselor. They can be anyone, like they can hold a degree in history also and they can become a counselor. Next is, what is the difference between counseling and psychotherapy? Now, this often I get question that, ma'am, what is the difference between counseling and therapy? Counseling is a short term process, whereas therapy is a long term process. In counseling, we focus on individual issues at a time, whereas in psychotherapy, we often induce in group therapy as well as family therapy. Counseling can be done for students also, whereas psychotherapy needs the intervention of serious psychotic disorders like schizophrenia, eating disorder, post traumatic stress disorder. Next is, counseling can be done with clients who have a good coping skill and they have the rational thinking behavior also. Like they don't need certain things. Like often in our clinic, patients say, I can hear some voices. I can see my, after my death of my mother, I am being able to see my mother. She's been coming to me. So for that, only therapy is being needed because they are being dependent on the therapies to gain control over their mind and their behavioral patterns. This therapy can be for several years and several months, whereas counseling hardly takes 10 to 15 sessions, and yes, counseling is yet over. What are the methods? Now, counseling is in less deeper method. Like we only ask certain question, and in counseling, parents or the patient or the client is being able to understand where the issues is being lying. Whereas psychotherapist or in therapy, we have extensive knowledge about psychological theories as well as the different therapy. Like we deal with several therapy which are CBT, that is cognitive behavior therapy, BT, behavior therapy, REBT, rational emotive behavior therapy, SFBT, solution focused behavior therapy, and so other modes are there. So, in counseling and psychotherapy, the only difference is in counseling, it's a short term process. Like, if I want to give an example, counseling can only be done with short term process clients, like people who are coming and saying that, Madam, I'm not being able to communicate with my parents. In that situation, we are only supposed to give or we only use counseling. Whereas if that kind sense comes and say that I'm not being able to adjust with my in-laws, I'm not being able to adjust with all the surrounding, I'm not being adjust able to eat food, certain traumatic situation are popping up in my mind. In that situation, we deal with therapy. Now, there are different modalities of counseling. Number one is infertility counseling, which is very popular right now in not only in India as well as abroad also. Marriage and family counseling. Educational counseling is for school setup and career counseling. Rehabilitation counseling, which is only based into rehab centers. Mental health counseling can be dealt with any type of counseling starting from depression to anxiety. Substance abuse counseling are only meant for the ones who are being substance addicted, like drugs or smoking or alcohol. Then there is parenting counseling. This is very common scenario where parents come and says, Madam, I do everything for my daughter or for my son, but still he or she is not in the right track. So for that also there is a counseling which is called parenting counseling. Then queer affirmative counseling. Queer affirmative counseling generally deals with the affirmative counselors, like the ones who are used to deal with the LGBT clients. Then in individual counseling, generally everyone does this individual counseling. Career counseling, which focuses only with the career guides and with the career issues the student is facing. Employee counseling, which is mainly on to the MNC or in the office setup. In that also we do time management, stress management, relationship, and so on. Now, let me come to the subtypes of psychotherapy. Right now, I say there are so many therapies. Number one is CBT, which is the cognitive behavior therapy, to change our cognition as well as the behavior, which is specially designed for the OCDs, obsessive compulsive disorder. Behavior therapy, this is also meant for the children who are having some instinct or some habits of indulging in certain behavior which is not accepted in our society. Then is rational emotive behavior. Then is solution focused brief therapy. Then comes the psychodynamic therapy, which is also known as the dream therapy. I wrote in another point with dream analysis. So psychotherapy and dream therapy both are in combination. Then comes play therapy. This is a very interesting therapy. It actually deals with the students or the children to come up with their ideas of what they are actually dealing into, because certain students or certain children can't express their feelings. Then is art-based therapy. Out of these modalities, art-based therapy and archaeology, for archaeology, registration number has to be provided, whereas in art-based therapy, no such registration is required, but both are the same. In art-based therapy and in archaeology, the main focus is making the client comfortable and giving them such ideas of drawing what are the thoughts or what are the thinking which is coming up in his or her mind. Then I will be getting into the topic, which is the stigmas which are related or which are associated with mental health. Let me be very clear that mental health is affecting right now many people. If I give a ratio, out of 10 people, 3 or 4 people are having issues with mental health issue. That can be any type of issue. But the truth is that in counseling setup, people are almost not being coming or not being negligible to come because there are certain associated stigmas with it. Like if I give an example, one of my client came to me and said, "Ma'am, when I was coming to you, my father said, 'You are going where?' I said that I'm going to a psychologist." His father broke the term that psychologist and say, "Oh, you are going to a psycho doctor. That means that doctor is also dealing or having some stupid or pagal thing inside or inside him." So these are the stigmas which are generally associated with counseling. Number one is counseling is only for major issues or crazy people. Right now, I said gave the example that coming for counseling session or coming for therapy session is only meant for some crazy people, but this is not the majority of life. There are certain doctors also who are being coming, so I don't think that it's only for crazy people. Even psychologists also do need psychologists to vent up their emotion, to catharsize and to say that yes, I am dealing with such problem. When we are very comfortable saying to the people that I am having some gynae issue or I am having some ortho issue, then why aren't we comfortable with saying that yes, I am having some mental health issues? It's very common. Number two is admitting that you need help, and going for counseling doesn't means that you are weak. This is very true. Like generally it comes for student and says, they say that, "Ma'am, my father or my mother say, this problem I have also dealt at your age, but why aren't you? So are you weak?" It's not the fact that whether I am weak or I am not weak, but it's that fact that I want to be better than what I am right now. So it's not a sign of weakness. Rather, we should take pride in saying that, yes, I am visiting a psychologist every day or every month to be what I am right now and to be a better version of myself. There is nothing to be shame of. I have missed this question. Okay. Myth number three is counseling doesn't help or will make sure the situation get worsened. So I don't think that counseling session makes the situation more worsen. Rather, being in this field, I can say that every person is different. Not even twins are identical. So the results from counseling are not going to be same or what we have dealt. Like giving an example, both the students are having stress issues for the exams. So there will be certain hormonal changes within them. But we are not going to tackle that both the students in one way. Either we are going to give them separate time management and stress management, or we are going to deal with in separate issue, like asking them what are the things which is bothering them. So we don't deal in a same way with all the clients we get in our clinics for day to day. Next, myth number four is psychologist doesn't know me, so they can't help. It's a very common scenario. People comes and asks me that, "Ma'am, you don't know my past, so why you can't help me?" Yes, definitely we don't know them, but there is a term called empathy. We, being in this mental health professional, we do empathize our clients. Like, yes, I am being able to understand. It's an unbiased, impartial situation which we create for our client to give an insight into the situation the client is going through. And we are not recommending that we are not going to help. But yes, we are definitely going to help, but taking consideration that there are certain laws or there are certain norms which we, being a psychologist, should keep in mind. The term which I want to make clear is transference and counter transference. Many a time I have heard from senior psychologists or mental health professional that when certain clients are coming, transference is happening, but at the same time, counter transference is also happening. So this is not ethics or the norms which we take while receiving our degrees and all. So we should keep in mind there are certain norms we should keep in mind, and but we are there to help everyone without knowing their past also. Next, myth number five is it takes a long time and it's very costly. Now, I want to say that it depends on the counselor. whether they are going to take a long time and whether the sessions are very costly. But if I take in consideration the scenario of West Bengal, it's not at all costly. It hardly charges, we as a counselor or we as a mental health professional, we hardly do charge from 500 to 1500 depending on our proficiency as well as the experience level. And as far as the long timing in concert, we don't take long time. It's just the way the client is learning how to handle different situations, the coping situation they need to handle. Next, myth number 6 is couple counseling is only for people that have problem in their relationship. Now, I want to say that this is again a myth which I have dealt for more than a year. That is, there are saying that couple means only the husband and wife. But right now, there are so many things like the ones who are going to get married also, people are coming to us. So, nothing to say that yes, couples are only the ones who have who have been married for a longer period of time. Like every day we water our plants or we water our tree. What out of what? It's just out of the thing that the plant will grow, it will give shelter, it will give food. It is just the thing is same with our relationship. We need to nurture our relationship. There are so many issues. Even I said that twins are also not identical, but at the same time, we need to keep in mind not even our partners will be same. Something pros and something cons are there. I last day only I had got a client. He was saying, my wife is not like the way I wanted. I want her to be. So it's not that out of some jod jabardasti that we have to make our partner the way we want. We when we are accepting the fact that it is my partner, we have to accept the partner as a whole, not half. Like we have to accept the pros also, the cons also. No single human being is having so many strength. Strength and weakness are part of our individual life. So it's not that couple counseling is only for the people that have problem in their relationship. They also come to understand in couple counseling, they also come to understand that how to address certain issues in front of their partner or in front of their in-laws. Like I can give an example of my own client only. They have been married in the year 2000 and they came in this year only for getting a good idea of how to make their relationship more beautiful after 22 years also. And I was so happy to see them. Right now they are having a one daughter and one son. But this is only the fact. It's not only they are coming into their problem, they don't have any issues. When I walk with them, they don't have any issue. It's just that they wanted to make their life or make their relationship more beautiful. For this reason, they came to counseling. So we should stop this mentality that it's only for the people who are having problem in their relationship. Next myth is uh, counseling did not work for me at all. I have tried previously, but this time I won't be trying. Let me make a clear point that every therapist is different. No one is of same educational qualification or same expertise. Like client can have a bad experience with counseling, but this doesn't mean the therapy or the treatment isn't for them. If someone is unhappy with one counselor, they can try for second option. There are so many counselors and mental health professionals available, not only in India, abroad also, online. Right now after pandemic also they are have been available online. So each counselor is different and each therapy modalities is very different. In Kolkata, there are so many therapists who practices CBT along with BT. But whereas if I go outside my state or outside my city, I see there are so many therapists practicing CBT along with SFBT and a partiality of REBT. So no modalities are same, no therapist counselors are same. So it's just that fact that didn't work out. So there can be another second plan also for that client. Then number 8 myth is counseling takes ages. It's like writing a blank check. Many people take this as a belief that if we go for counseling, it will go on for endless numbers, and this are very costly. So there are certain counseling which goes for ages, like for the psychotic ones. But honestly, I have dealt with so many clients from the year 2017. I have cured almost 5,000 people, and till date they are being in touch with me, not for therapy session, not for counseling session, just for saying me that yes ma'am, I am right now very good. So it's not that counseling will take. Counseling are very, and honestly counseling is very short term, whereas therapy can take several months or several years, but counseling doesn't take more than 10 to 15 session also. Nine is counseling is nothing but endless talk about childhood. I know I have been in this situation. Like one of the client father said, "What you are asking my daughter? You are only asking about her past or about the childhood." It was important because the child or the girl, she was 25 years old and she had accounted, or she had been aided for n number of traumatic situations, sexual abuses by her uncles, mental traumas by her aunt and by her mother. So it was important for me to note down all the childhood events which she have encountered. So it's not like that. This is a misconception that counseling sessions spend endless number about the past or about the relationship with parents. Yes, it's very true. We do talk about everything, because counseling doesn't mean to improve myself only. It means to improve my surrounding and my environment partially. So counseling draws on a range of approaches to resolve concern and achieve desired outcome. This is the thing which I was saying, that we not only work with our issue, we work with certain relationship, like relationship with mother, relationship with father, with teacher, with friends, everyone. It works with everyone. Number 10 method, if I go to counseling, they are just going to give me a pill. So, counseling, first of all, let me make it a clear point that psychologists, clinical psychologists, rehabilitation psychologists can't give any pills. It's only the medication which are being prescribed by a psychiatrist. Only the psychiatrists are allowed to prescribe a medicine. So it's a completely myth that if I go to counseling, they are going to give some sleeping pills. And also, I have heard that it's not only the pills, it's other sleeping pills. Out of 24 hours, I'm going to sleep 12 hours. So it's not like that. Medicines have improved in this era, or in this generation a lot. So we don't give any pills to any clients. It's only the counseling or the therapy or the psychometric assessment which we do. Number 11th myth is, if I go for counseling, everyone will hear about it. This is one of the uttermost important, which I was just trying to figure it out, that whatever, for this, as a therapist, we do maintain confidentiality of our client. Exception is made, like I wrote in this PPT, exceptions are made only when there is a potential serious risk to harm the individual, like the client have been committed suicide or have attempted to commit suicide previously, or he's having some issues to commit the suicide. In that case only, we as a psychologist or we as a mental health professional ask the parents or tell the parents that these are the scenario, these are the potential scenario of the client. So this is not the thing that we are going to say everyone, "Acha, this person came to me for counseling, this person came to me for counseling," or neither we are going to share their clinic history with anyone in our social media account or with anyone. So yes, exceptions are there, like if it is required by any law. In that case only, in certain situation, we being in this mental health professional, we do share the clinical case with the, either with the police or the government officer. And if the suicidal tendency is there, then it is only being shared with the parents and no one else. Next myth is, our psychologists cannot understand me unless we have a similar experience and background. So I being in this profession, I can say no human being have similar experiences. But We are being trained in that way to respect all our client dignity. We are being respecting all our client individually. So regardless of our educational qualification or with the similar background, we are being empathically asked or empathically being shown to the client that yes, we can understand your feeling. I can't understand their feeling because I do have that much of knowledge that yes, every individuals are different, every scenario of their life circumstances will be different. So not even the twins are identical, as we read during our graduation times, that even though twins are also not identical, so how can our problem be the similar we experience? So people come and say, ma'am, you are not going to understand me because this is what I am going through, but you did not go through. It's not the fact that I did not go through, that doesn't mean I or any of the mental health professional did not go through. That doesn't mean that that person or that therapist is not being reciprocating in that manner. It's just a way that we are being respectful to our individual clients. And this is the very common myth that men don't cry as well as men don't suffer mental illness. This is one of the biggest myths right now. Like people say men are not allowed to cry, or why men are being suffering from mental health issues. Like if I say about the research conducted in the year 2012, by the UK government, it has shown that male rates are very high rather than the female rates because of this stigma that men are not supposed to cry and men are not supposed to have mental disorder. So they are being preoccupied in that thought that yeah, I can't communicate with my issue to anyone, neither I am supposed to cry. So with whom can I share my feelings or my negative thoughts? So chalo, it's better to commit a suicide and better to have the end of our life. This is what the common myth states, that everyone will be having mental health issues, including a psychologist also. So it's nothing to think that men don't cry or men don't suffer from mental illness. The suicide rate in India also is more than women's in Indian scenario. So yes, men also do have mental health issues. Now, this is the very common issue or very common topic I wrote, that is celebrity mental health issue which has been addressed publicly. Like Deepika Padukone is also having a depression and also have been diagnosed with clinical depression and anxiety while she was shooting for a new film which was Happy New Year in the year 2016 or 17. I forgot the year. So at that moment of time, she used to sleep and she used to cry. She used to have bulimia. She used to binge eat over the food, and yes, she spoke publicly. So nothing to feel. If I go in that track also, right now people are very having a role model of like we want to be like that celebrity, we want to be like that celebrity. So yes, clinical issues or clinical disorders or mental health issues are also be diagnosed among celebrity. Deepika Padukone was one of them, and these are the few uh, photos which I got from the net. That this is Diana Pinte or somewhat, I don't know. She said that she used to sit in a corner and just cry for hours. She was not being allowed to say anyone. But yes, at last, after 6 or 7 months, in her article, she said, I went out and I spoke to a counselor in my area, that is in Mumbai, and she is now completely fine. Then comes Lizzo. She is one of the most talked celebrity. She said that I finally realized that owning up to your vulnerabilities is a form of strength. Just the way I said, talking about our weakness is not that we are being giving the access to people to talk about us. It's a sign of our strength. Like people say, if I say that these are my disability or these are my weakness, people are going to laugh at us. It's not that people are not going to. Yes, certain people are going to laugh at us, but yeah, it's a sign of strength that yeah, that person have the guts to talk in front of everyone, in front of 5% or in front of 5 lakh person about his pros and cons. Next comes the talk of Camilla Mendon. She is a singer, I think. She said, I just started seeing a therapist and I am super stoked about it. It's something I have been wanting to do for a longer time, and considering how much my life changed. This was, I was saying in the topic couple counseling, that couples or counseling is not meant only to come to a therapist or come to a psychologist for addressing the issue. People do generally come to us, or people can come to us for making their lives more beautiful. The way they are now, the more happier they will be after coming to a mental health professional. This are the first thing that Emma Stone said, that she had a panic attack and she was in her friend's house, and after that she has been brought in her house, and for next 3 hours 3 years she would not stop. Like, she took therapy session for 3 years for her panic attack, and right now she is doing marvelous in her Hollywood films. And this is by on the article of Drew Barrymore on postpartum depression. She said, I was like, oh wow, I see what people talk about now. I understand it's a different type of overwhelming with the kids. Second kid, I really got under the cloud. She is a mom of 3 kids, and right now also she takes therapy in her state. So it's a marvelous thing she is doing. And yes, this is the end of my PPT. Anyone is having any question can come up.
Yeah, it was a wonderful session, Shraddhanjali.
Thank you, sir.
You have covered almost all aspects, especially when related to mental health and stigma associated with it. Participants, if you have any queries, you can raise your hand, or you can unmute yourself, or you can use chat box to clarify or share your thoughts.
Hi, ma'am.
Hello.
Hello, hi, Shraddhanjali.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, you have done very good job, and you have done justice to the topic. So, it's for me, it's this is new topic actually. I am learning. So, congratulations on your effort you have taken, and you have done a good thing.
Thank you so much.
All the best. Hope to see you in more sessions, and all the best for your life also. Take care.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Anyone else would like to share?
Ma'am, an excellent session, very well explained. Thank you so much for giving us the insight so beautifully.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
But will you be sharing your PPT, ma'am? Because it was too fast. Some of them I couldn't read. I'm a little slow at reading, being senior. So if it would be nice if you share the PPT with us, it will be great.
Sure,
you,
ma'am.
ma'am.
I'll be sharing the PPT. Sure, ma'am. Not an issue. I'll be sharing the PPT with sir, and if sir wants, sir can share it in the group. Not an issue, ma'am.
And also, I would like to get in touch with you for other collaboration, ma'am.
Sure, ma'am. You can get in touch with me. My Facebook page is Wandering Mind by Shraddhanjali. You can definitely type it in Facebook, or you can write
Okay,
my
Wandering
number.
Mind. Okay, okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
You can
Thank you, ma'am.
write my number also. I'll be sharing in the chat box.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to share? You can go ahead. Ma'am has shared her contact number, so you can make a note. Registration link for this event has been shared in the chat box, and also the feedback link for today's session. Kindly fill up. If you haven't registered yet, you can use the registration link in the chat box to register. And those who are attending, kindly fill up the feedback form, link shared in the chat box. It is mandatory for the certificate. Certificates can be downloaded from website. All the instructions are provided on the website. You can go there and find the links, read the instructions, and download the certificate within the specified time. So if there are no further queries, then we shall conclude this session. So thank you, Shraddhanjali ji, for joining us and for your wonderful session. And we wish you all the success and look forward for more sessions in future.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving me the opportunity also. Thank you, ma'am.
So we'll, as usual, as we were doing the practice of commemorating today's special. So after this wonderful session, we shall move on to our today's commemoration days. After this, I will show you how to download your certificates and about eligibility criteria and everything. I will show you at So today, internationally, we are marking commemorating United Nations Day for South and South Cooperation 2022 by one of the organizations subsidiary organizations of United Nations Office for South-South Cooperation, to highlight the importance of South-South cooperation and to mark the day in 1978 when the United Nations Conference on Technical Cooperation among Developing Countries adopted the Buenos Aires Plan of Action for promoting and implementing technical cooperation among developing countries. The General Assembly proclaimed 12th September as the United Nations Day for South-South Cooperation. The 2022 high-level commemoration of the United Nations Day for the South-South Cooperation will be organized during the Global South Development GSSD Expo. The event, held under the theme Key Priorities and Future Directions in Advancing South-South and Triangular Cooperation for Sustainable COVID-19 Recovery Towards a Smart and Resilient Future, will be co-hosted by the United Nations Office for South-South Cooperation, in short known as UNOSSC, Government of Thailand, and United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific, in short known as UNESCAP. During the event, stakeholders will have an opportunity to reflect on various roles of South-South and triangular cooperation in supporting member states to achieve the 2030 agenda and deliver on the decade of action while effectively recovering from the global COVID-19 crisis and building resilient and sustainable, smart and inclusive societies. As stated by Antonio Guterres, UN Secretary General, South-South and triangle cooperation are critical for developing countries to mitigate and adapt to climate disruption, address the global health crisis, including COVID-19 recovery, and achieve all 17 Sustainable Development Goals. It must play an ever-increasing role in resolving our common challenges. The global landscape has shifted significantly in recent decades. The world has seen important economic and demographic changes, cascading impact of climate change, a global health pandemic, a rise in global conflict and refugee flows, and rapid advancement in the availability and use of digital technologies. These developments has fundamentally changed the way people live, work, connect, and socialize. They offer new challenges, but also provide new opportunities for human development. Achieving the ambitious targets of 2030 agenda and adapting to the changing global context mentioned above will require engagement from stakeholders, leveraging their diverse and unique advantages. South-South and triangle cooperation are important cornerstones of development and activity and will serve as vital modalities for action as complements to North-South cooperation. As the world recovers from the devastating social, economical, and human impacts of the COVID-19 crisis, along with existing threats of climate change, South-South and triangular cooperation is the need of the hour, said Antonio Guterres, United Nations Secretary General. This event will provide an opportunity for the UN member states to celebrate the UN Day for South-South cooperation and to reflect on their advocacy and commitment towards the contribution of South-South and triangular cooperation to urgent development solutions. So it also this year is featuring the launch of publication Good Practices in South-South and Triangular Cooperation for Sustainable Development, volume number 4. The new volume features more than 130 good practices presented by over 50 partners, including member states, intergovernmental organizations, IGOs, United Nations entities, and other development stakeholders. The volume includes solutions on COVID-19 response and recovery, poverty alleviation, climate action, trade facilitation, and digitalization. Building on the 3 prior high successful editions, The 2022 volume significantly expands the South-South and Triangle cooperation knowledge base across all sustainable development goals, highlighting innovation and a greater diversity of partners now leveraging South-South and Triangular cooperation collaboration for development. In the era of unprecedented challenge and upheaval, solutions lie in solidarity. South-South and Triangular cooperation are critical for developing countries to mitigate and adapt to the climate disruption, address the global health crisis, including COVID-19 recovery, and achieve all sustainable development goals. It is important that Southern-led development solutions are shared far and wide. South-South Triangular cooperation must play an ever-increasing role in resolving our common challenges, but that does not absolve the wealthier nations of their responsibilities to work constructively with the developing world, especially to reduce growing inequalities between and within nations. As we commemorate the United Nations Day for South-South cooperation, we encourage all nations and communities to redouble cooperation and build bridges to achieve an equitable and sustainable future for all. So with this, and unity among several countries, cooperation between these governments in South has helped instill peace. In an increasingly globalized world, solidarity is still a pressing issue, especially concerning impoverished countries. And cooperation between countries have been one of the tenets of the United Nations organizations since its founding. South-South cooperation in particular started gaining attention due to growth in differences in income, GDP, and human development between countries of different regions. Indeed, one of the aims of this observance is to promote cooperation among developing countries. This is what led to the creation of United Nations Development Program in 1965 and the United Nations Office for South-South Cooperation within the UN system in 1974. The office is the main organizational body behind the International Day for South-South Cooperation and coordinates the different cooperation initiatives with the UN in 1978. After the Conference of the Global South, the UN implemented one of the earliest programs enabling this form of cooperation. With the advances in technology, technical cooperation became an increasingly important issue for the economic growth of developing countries. The UN Conference on South-South Cooperation became a yearly event held to set specific benchmarks, programs, and objectives in terms of enabling this form of international cooperation. In 2009, the United Nations Office for South-South Cooperation became an independent entity within the UN, which would provide it more resources and enable it to plan large-scale cooperative programs. In 2015, the Agenda for Sustainable Development was adopted, one of the most important documents about the UN South-South Cooperation Initiative. With this adoption, several governments will take part in a collaborative effort implementing technical cooperation programs benefiting the economic growth of developing countries. So the geopolitical term refers to the countries below the equator. These countries have suffered from colonialism and are economically poor. They are generally located in Africa and Latin America, while some are in South Asia, are known as southern countries. And When we look at the pillars of international cooperation, rests on principles that are constantly pushed by the United Nations and other international organizations, which include solidarity, rule of law, and peace. So when we see the total number of member states in the United Nations, there are currently 193 countries in the world which are member states of United Nations. Apart from that, we do have certain countries. So how do we take part? Many countries will organize events and initiatives specific to this issue during special day. So make sure you attend and participate, as this is one of the most significant ways to show support for the special cause. Then how do we improve international relations? International relations are increasingly significant today as they can greatly impact conditions around the world. The establishment of a clear model for global cooperation and South-South cooperation in particular can immensely help this process. And many governments are currently aware of the implications of this issue, and engagement of several countries. South-South cooperation and global cooperation are deemed the most significant way to achieve world peace. The potential of global cooperation is now more significant and clearer than ever. Global inequality is a still pressing issue. The main way to combat this is not only by helping poor countries, but also aiding them to develop and grow their own economy and capabilities, which is the aim of observance. With this, we shall conclude this commemoration, and then we'll move on to next commemoration for the day, that is National Report Medicare Fraud Day. National Report Medicare Fraud Day is celebrated every year on September 12th. Medicare is a common fraud that affects all of us. Research says approximately 10% of all Medicare funds are lost due to fraud. The American government spends nearly $650 billion a year on Medicare, on which $65 billion a year goes unutilized due to Medicare fraud. This is not just a personal inconvenience, but also the reason why America is battling a natural health crisis. So this day not only makes us aware of extent of medical care fraud, but also offers us detailed steps for reporting it. So National Report Medical Care Fraud Day was founded in 2017 by the Hedge Film LLC. The day came to be after founding attorney Joel D. Hess spent over 15 years working in the DOJ's Whistleblower Reward Office. He now exclusively represents whistleblowers across the country in filing for cases and reporting incidents of fraud. To help whistleblowers properly report medical care fraud, Joel D. Hess wrote a free book and created a website to ensure that everyone knows how to correctly report Medicare fraud and take necessary steps to be eligible for a reward. So you can visit reportmedicalfraudday.com to know more about this initiative. And medical care fraud can be reported in two different ways, and each ways provide very different results. The first one is to blow the whistle under the Department of Justice reward program, which pays 15 to 25% of the amount that DOJ recovers. The average DOJ award for reporting medical care fraud is $690,000. While some have even claimed rewards as high as $150 million. If you report fraud under a DOJ program, the government is compelled to open an investigation and keep you updated on the progress. Presently, DOJ whistleblowers constitute 3/4 of the government Medicare fraud reward cases. Thus, the government actually depends on the whistleblowers to bring Medicare fraud cases to their notice and receive an award in return. The second way is to report Medicare fraud is directly to the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, CMS. CMS runs the Medicare program, and fraud can be reported to the CMS through its website by calling its hotline. So what constitutes medical fraud? Medical fraud occurs when someone knowingly deceives Medicare to receive payment when they should not, or to receive a higher payment than they should. Committing fraud is illegal and should be reported. If you suspect medical care fraud, do any of this. Call fraud hotline of the Department of Health and Human Services, Office of the Inspector General, and call customer care. How to observe? By creating more awareness on this day and sharing your experience. And if you know anyone who has duped in a medical care case, help them to file a complaint and tell them how they can claim their award. The wealthier you are, the more costly it will be, and more cost it will cost you. While most people will pay the standard premium amount, some individuals will have a higher premium based on their income. And Medicare only covers 80% of the eligible medical expenses. So it doesn't cover all medical grievances. And the original plan is limited to US only. So it doesn't cover some essential care. And the original plan is limited. So Medicare doesn't pay for anything while you are traveling abroad. And Medicare gives you a free annual wellness exam as a free treat. So this is a day to claim your rights, and the Medicare program has a long history of helping those in need. If you have ever been a victim of Medicare fraud, the day encourages you to seek justice and claim what is rightfully yours. And Joel D. Hesk deserves praise for making legal knowledge free and easy for so many of us. You can observe the day as a reminder to learn about the law. If you have ever filed a complaint for medical care fraud, you could use your expertise to help someone else in need. The day teaches us to lend a helping hand. So this is in terms of US context, but even in India also, we can see a lot of medical insurance fraud. You know, when you go to hospital, they ask whether you have medical insurance, and you see bill goes up like anything. So that is also a fraud. When you suspect that unnecessary tests or unnecessary charges are being levied on your bill or to your account, you can immediately report to concerned authorities or to the concerned, medical insurance company, as well as to the government authorities, as well as the third party agency. You can reduce your bills, as well as, you can keep a check on such activities. So with this, we shall conclude. And especially this is very useful. The entire context is because based on in Western context, and whoever is living in abroad, especially in US, it's very useful for them. And today also commemorates National Police Women Day in Western context. So while we are looking at various commemorations, this is what we say, India is a very rich cultural diversity, and every day is worth celebrating. And we often feel, somewhere inferior about celebrating different aspects, but the very point of taking or, bringing awareness of these various days is, they have a day for chocolate or ice cream, for burger, for samosa, for hot dog. See, this is a way, where they are trying to create so many days because they don't have such a rich culture or diversity. They are very, very short-lived civilization. So that should remind us how our thousands and thousands of years civilization we are coming from, we belong to, but we neglect our own culture and traditions. We don't even commemorate those events, and we rarely, the festivals which commemorate such events are also not celebrated properly. Now, if we want to learn from the West, if we want to import that, at least by seeing this, we should be, inculcating that practice to go back and celebrate our own, festivals and commemorations, which are really very much required. Because if you don't appreciate yourself, no one will appreciate you. If you don't appreciate your own culture, your own traditions, definitely no one is going to appreciate our own cultures and traditions. If you are not going to respect yourself, no one is going to respect you. So in a similar way, it is very important and very pertinent to have commemorations, to have celebrations of our own festivals, our own, these celebrations and initiatives. Every aspect of the culture, every aspect of our life should be celebrated. Though it can be commemorated and rejoiced, but it doesn't mean you need to have a grandiosity and, go for unnecessary expenditure or unnecessary, the show off, which again involves a lot of other implications. It means just to remind us ourselves about our rich culture and traditions. And, this is a day where various days, in Hindu, cultures and traditions, every day is celebrated. Every day we have an occasion. If you can see, just the Hindu calendar, traditional Hindu calendar, almost every day you have one or other thing to celebrate. And based on that, even the Islamic cultures and, Christian cultures, they also have initially, if you see Islam and other kin, they have hardly one or two festivals. If you can see Ramzan or Bakrid or, hardly we can find 2, 3, but they also learned from this, and they are today also, if you see today, even in, Christianity also, you have hardly have Easter or, Good Friday or just a couple of days. But now you can see every day, even they are also celebrating one day or the other. So this is what, every day should be a day for celebration. But what we are doing, so we lost, people are learning from us, people are learning and celebrating, and we belonging to such a, very rich and diverse cultures and traditions, we are ignoring our own cultures and traditions. So it is very much important, to follow them and to practice them, which is very important, so that our future generations also practices. If we ourselves don't practice, and that is how, we become unaware, and the memories are lost and the practices are lost, and there will be no one to practice. So let's look into this National Police Day. So National Police Women Day is celebrated, acknowledges, celebrate the contribution of female police officers who enforce law and order around the country. And today, only roughly 10% of the police force in the United States is made up of women. National Police Women Day hopes to rectify that, the encouraging women are more women to join the service. Campaigns and events are organized to urge more women to take up law enforcement roles. Along with the expression of gratitude to these officers, the day also hopes for a future where law enforcement bodies will have stronger female representation. Women empowerment is related to women education. There are many scholarships around the world for women. Scholarlu has a list of top women scholarships that can help young girls to choose their career path. Scholarlu is a website sponsored and maintained by Google. So that lists a lot of scholarships from across the world. You can visit, it will be very helpful. And the first policewoman in the United States was most likely by, Mary Owens. And she was hired by the Chicago Police Department in 1891. Although police matrons were not aware of a rare sight in prisons in the New York City prior to this, they lacked the authority to arrest as Owens did. Alice Wells was hired by the Los Angeles Police Department in 1910 and was the first American-born woman police officer in the United States. Unlike Wells, Owens had been born in Canada. So in 1854, the first police matrons were hired by the New York City to search and guard female prisoners, but they were civilians with no law enforcement authority. The role became quite popular among women, and many started applying for similar positions in various parts of the United States. In 1910, the Los Angeles Police Department appointed the first regularly rated policewoman, Alice Wells. Before her, matrons were seen as a masculine and not very bright. Wells, as a college graduate, a social worker, and had deliberately sought the position of a police officer. She soon became a pioneer in the national movement to have a police departments hire women as officers. However, that did not really happen, and women were hired by quotas. This means they regularly faced discrimination, silent contempt, sexism at workplace, and other double standards. Several court cases were fought to reach equality of employment in police agencies. Cases such as Spritzer versus Lang, Wells versus Civil Service Commission, and Jonah Rossi case in Pennsylvania were the landmark ones. The most far-reaching case was the August 1971 class action suit brought by Warren Hardy against the City of Oakland Civil Service Board, which demanded a civil service classification for police officers with the Oakland Police Department that would be open to men and women on an equal basis. Today, policewomen are involved in all aspects of police work. So in 1972, Congress passed an amendment to the Civil Rights Act of 1964. This prohibited state and local agencies from job discrimination based on gender, and police departments were required to hire women for jobs on equal basis with men. American law enforcement agents only solved 21% of the all reported crimes. Not a lot of crimes are actually solved. Police officers in England are sometimes called bobbies in honor of Sir Robert Peel, the founder of modern British police force. And they have such a nickname in UK called as bobbies. And in 1916, Georgia Ann Robinson became the first African-American policeman and was a landmark year. And Japanese police officers carry paintball guns to mark fleeting criminals' vehicles. And nearly 90% of the London's police officers don't carry firearms. Carrying firearms is rare for London police officers. So for the longest time, women had little or no representation in the police force. So National Police Women's Day celebrates the progress that women had made through the years of representation. Policewomen enforce law and order and make sure we feel safe in our communities. So National Police Women Day is a time to acknowledge these contributions and express our gratitude for the same. And women make for only 10% of the entire police force in America. So National Police Women Day calls for the introspection of this gender disparity and works towards a more equal force future. So with this, we shall conclude the commemoration of the day. And we have another day, National Day of Encouragement. This is dedicated to encouraging and having a positive impact on those around us. The best thing about day is you can make someone happy by simply saying a few words of encouragement. Your words have the power of to lift someone when they are down. They also have the power to motivate someone who might be struggling or engage someone to pick themselves back after a setback. So a small act of encouragement could be the spark that changes a loved one's perspective. To praise and encourage someone's efforts is a practice worth having, no matter the day of the year. In 2007, a group of young people at the National Leadership Forum at Harding University in Searcy, Arkansas, came up with the idea of the encouragement project. The group went on to start a celebration which they called as National Day of Encouragement. This was a result of a grim reality. These young people saw a lack of encouragement as one of the main obstacles and that the youth face. They recognized the urgent need to help each other overcome negative influences. Since then, the day before September 12th is a tragic day in American history. National Day of Encouragement was also seen as a day where people across the day could come together and support each other through the grief of 9/11 terrorist attacks. September 12th is therefore also observed as a honor of victims and those who continue to be affected by the mindless bigotry. So, following the day's creation, the first official to issue a proclamation was Belinda LaFosse. She was the then mayor of Searcy. The day was recognized on August 22, 2007, and celebrations were observed on September 12th the very year. Soon afterward, Arkansas Governor Mike Beebe issued a proclamation designating September 12 as the State Day of Encouragement. President George W. Bush signed a document in 2007 designating the day as National Day of Encouragement. A Senate resolution for the day was introduced by Arkansas Senator Mark Pyrer and was passed by the unanimous consent on September 13, 2011. Needless to say, National Day of Encouragement holds significance for all Americans. So encourage a budding artist or anyone who is doing some work or by buying their art or by advertising their work on social media profiles. Simply follow, like, or comment could immensely boost their business. Appreciate a junior. Cheer the achievements of a junior at workplace or on National Day of Encouragement. Celebrate the progress that they have made and encourage them to scale new heights. Say a word of encouragement to everyone whom you know personally or professionally. There's no better way to observe National Day of Encouragement than this. So with this, we shall conclude this National Day of Encouragement. And today is also National Games Day, Video Games Day. No reason to feel bad about not even seeing the light of the day on September 12th because it's National Video Games Day. Originated in 1940, but today the video game industry is an $18 billion industry that constantly churns out new fun activities for all ages. The term video game encompasses all kinds of digital games, from old school Mario games to hot new VR ones like Beat Saber. The huge array of video games means there will be something for everyone to play today, where it's an old arcade game or fortune. If a day The huge array of video games means there will be something for everyone to play today, whether it's an old arcade game or Fortnite. If a day alone doesn't appeal to you, round up some friends for a multiplayer game. So with this, we shall conclude this National Video Games Day. So thank you everyone for joining us, and hope everyone has filled the feedback form. If not, kindly fill up the feedback form. Now let's, before concluding, let me show how to download your certificates. This is a website where you can find all the details about upcoming conferences, workshops, symposium. So this is a website, sricasw.org, easy to remember, very short, and it's also mentioned in all the messages you might have received to join this event. Here, you can see just if you scroll down, just a second. This is a website. You need to type sricasw.org in browser. Then you will have this, you'll be visiting this website. Here on the right, left side, you can find the navigation menu where you can just go through different sections of the society website. Here you can just simply see, just below this, you can find the schedule. International Webinar Series for Holistic Health and Well-being and Sustainable Development 2022. You can click on this and you can directly go. Otherwise, you can just scroll down. And here you can see International Webinar Series on Holistic Health and Sustainable Development. Daily webinars. You can click on any of these, no problem. So let's click. So here you can see schedule here. where you can see the list of events month-wise. You can just select on any of the event to visit that event page. You can see September 12th today's, and just click on that and you will be taken to that. You can see the flyer here, and just below the flyer you have this option, link to download e-certificates and shall be shared within 15 working days after the webinar. So after 16 days, you can download your certificate. That is maximum time. Sometimes we provide, see, it all depends on, the easier the work is. I mean, all the participants, speakers, if they follow all the formalities, then it will not take much time. So we have many times issued on the same day also to speakers and participants also. Sometime we issued same day or in a 2-3 days, or also, sometimes it takes more than 15 days because there is a discrepancy, because we are very considerate for that matter. Last minute also we do provide opportunities. So, sometimes speakers don't, or the participants don't register properly. They attend, but they don't register, or they attend and they do not provide feedback form, or, certain things are there. That's why we have kept this time, so that in case if you are not registered, or you can register, go back and register, and in case you have not filled the feedback form, you can, if you have the attendance and if you are using, that's why we have provided multiple options. In case you are not able to see the poll form, you can leave your feedback with the same details in the chat box. So various alternatives are available, but you have to make sure that you are complying with the because we have alternatives available. So we are instructing every time to follow and meet the eligibility criteria, and you can download it. There is an eligibility criteria that is set. You can, otherwise also you can see in the navigation menu, you can see weekday schedule. This page can be directly visited from here. Just below here, if you click on the schedule, it will take to the entire events from March till the end, till August 2023, that is ending of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. This is entire Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav calendar. So till August 2023, we will, whenever the events are scheduled, I mean, they are scheduled, but once they, flyer is prepared and everything is done, we are updating here. So if you want to present also, you can send your details and book your, you can reserve your slot till March 2023, till August 2023, there is an opportunity. So we invite resource persons. If you want to present, you can see. And every Sunday, these are Sundays. Every Sunday, we have a conference on 18th Sunday also. Here you have all the details, registration form, and all the details along with flyer. So you can visit. This is a central place, this website, where you get all the details. See, you have on every page, you can see how to get and what are the formalities. Participants, for register, participate, provide feedback, download your participation. For presenters, speakers, panelists, resource persons, register, present and participate, provide feedback, download your participation and presentation certificate. Presently, because they are very less in number, hardly. So, and to also express our gratitude, we are sharing certificates for resource persons only, personally through WhatsApp. So, but For participants, they have to visit the website and download. And on every page, this is on every page, we are providing the registration link for delegate, participant, speaker, presenter, panelist, collaboration, registration are all. There is a single form we have integrated. You can use this form for registration. And for speaker, presenter, panelist, you need to provide additional details. So for that reason, what we have mentioned is to send them through email along with the format. There is a format through which you need to prepare, and along with your photo and your, if you are also willing to collaborate, along with your signature and logo of the organization, along with your PPT file. If you don't have PPT file, a small write-up about what you are going to speak. Along that, you need to share all the details along with your attachments like photo, signature, logo. If there is no collaboration, even signature and logo is not required. If you want, you can, we can make you also co-signatory. You can send your details through email, because you don't have an option in this form to send or upload this, photo or PPT file. That's why it is mandatory. Once you register, you send all the details, then only your session will be confirmed. See, otherwise also, because we are considerate, we are doing, but what will happen is the verification happens only from this database. Tomorrow, if you get, now you are taking certificates, fine, we are issuing, but tomorrow when there is a verification comes to our organization, and your data will be missing from this database. And we do not, only when you provide all the details, we update in this database. If there is any field that is missing, its system is not going to accept, and that data is not going to be updated, and verification will fail. So that is your interest. Now, if you think, why I have to fill the registration form or why I have to fill the feedback form, then tomorrow you are only going to face the problem. So that's why we insist you follow. That's why we many times say you follow the formalities. It is very simple. You register every day, you are getting certificates. So every day you have to register for the event, though the registration form is same, but you have to register every day, because we generally take on a daily basis. So whatever day, on that day registration happens, we take the data. So on that day you are registering, that will be applicable for that day. So to avoid so many registration forms, and so that we have kept the same form for all the weekdays. For Sundays, there is for every conference, there is a different registration form and a different feedback form. Generally, we are now collecting only through Zoom platform itself, because feedback form is being misused, as we know. Even now also today, today in the sense, even in our platform also, I see daily someone who do not attend also fill the feedback forms. So these all things now will delay the process actually. While our team is working, or when I am working, see, when we see an entry, we assume that they have attended, and what we have to do, we have to check with Zoom. It will not be there in the Zoom attendance. Either we will check with registration, it will not be there in registration also, it will not be there in feedback also, just in feed, and only place where it is there is in the feedback form. So that's why we stopped even taking circulating feedback forms, and we'll be taking in the Zoom only. If they are available in the Zoom platform, they will be only able to provide this feedback when they are attending, or when they have attended only. So there is no feedback link where you, without attending, you cannot fill the feedback form in Zoom platform, because outside that poll form is not accessible. So, without attending, you cannot fill. And even if you attend, what happens? You are attending at the last minute when poll is launched, and you are filling that, and you are submitting the feedback. So there is a minimal eligibility criteria of 65% attendance along with inaugural and valedictory session. So you have to attend the inaugural and valedictory session, and you need to have overall 65% attendance. See, we are sometimes you can see those who are not attending means those who are not attending fully also, they are being given, I mean, when they are not attending for 65% also, they are given certificates. That happens only when, when certain times we overrun our timings. So that timings are not counted. See, many times, participants say that, we have exceeded time, but that is always a grace time. You are not joining on time, first thing. So you are not completely spending your time as required. But what we are doing from our side is we are very considerate. We are more considerate than anyone. So what we are doing is whatever excess time is there, that is not included. I mean, as part of those, are not counted for them. Uh, if you are not attending for that additional time, you are not penalized or you are not, deprived of anything. That is only additional for those who join late or for those who are attending late. For them, we are adding them that time also to them. So it's a benefit for both those who are attending, they are getting knowledge, and at the same time who are joining late or also for them. Actually, these late sessions or, these overtime sessions are helping them to gain certificate. Otherwise, you will be lacking if you end on exact time. Definitely, we have to end on exact time, but sometimes this overrun or overspills of time is helping these late joiners or, who are not joining in time. For them, it is a boon for them, because this overspills or overtime is helping them accumulating some time to meet the eligibility. So many times we see participants saying, "Oh, we are running time, exceeding time," but that you don't know that is only helping you to get certificate, because that time is being added. And for those who leave also, at 5, if you say 5 or till 6, if you leave at 5 or 6 also, you are getting certificate. We are not saying that you left at 5, the session ended at 6:30, so we are not giving certificate. We have not done to anyone like that. So only thing is you need to follow. Otherwise also, even if following also you get certificate, you will not be there in the database. That will create you problem in future for you only. So it is your better interest. You follow the procedures as mentioned, because that will only help you in long run. Today, just taking certificate and going, it will not serve you any purpose, because once it comes for verification, if it is not verified, then there is no purpose in having. You can show, but nowadays all the organizations, universities are sending for verification, and that will fail if you don't follow these procedures. So it is your interest only. We will give you anyway. We have given also, because initially we were not giving, but later on we have that attendance, Zoom attendance, and based on that attendance also we gave. But the problem will come at the time of verification, where your details will not be there in registration form, neither in feedback form. So when verification comes to us, we will just mention that we don't have any details. So there you will only face problems. So these are the technical problems. We are helping you. Actually, these no one will tell you. They will, because they want more people, more participants to attend. They are not bothered about all these things, because they want more popularity. They want everything. So they don't inform you everything about this. They don't even create any awareness also about these things, because you people participants think, oh, these are a lot of formalities and why we need to comply. But tomorrow, when suddenly issue pops up, then we will see. At that time, participants also only tell. And for that matter, we also, when we find in such a situation, tomorrow we will also ask you why you did not inform us at that time. We could have completed now. So that's why we are taking so much pain, because we are very transparent, and you can see every flyer, every event on the website, and everything is transparent. If you follow, that will benefit you. If you don't follow, you are only going to be in trouble. So it's in best interest. We are not worried about popularity. We are not worried about number of participants. We are not worried about anything. We are only worried about our system and following our system and maintaining our records. We are working to maintain and sustain this system, and we'll follow that. We will issue also certificate without data also based on attendance, but that will not serve you any process. That will only satisfy your that day need, but it will not serve any purpose, because without, even after taking that, when there is no data in the database, what is the point? That needs to be verified. Only genuineness of the certificate, again, it depends on the data also. Certificate may be genuine, but the verification forms comes with a lot of details, your name, father name, or what. We don't know what all they will ask. They will not just ask the certificate is genuine or not. So we have to verify whether this participant has really registered or not, attended or not, or was eligible or not. So all these things are their background. Because I am very transparent, I wanted to help you all. That's why I'm telling you everything. Every time I tell you, register, fill up the feedback form, fill up the registration form, so that you are in the database, and attend it, attend sessions. And then, even if you get certificates also, that will have some value. Many people don't know, they think they can get away, so they are doing these things. So anyway, that's up to them. But this is the fact, and I don't want you to face trouble, because you are spending so much time with us, and we all are like family. I don't want you to be in trouble, and also trouble at some future date. You also ask, why sir you did not inform us at an earlier? We could have completed. It hardly will take 1 minute, 1 minute, 2 minutes to fill the registration form, 1 minute to fill the feedback form. So you follow the procedures, it will be useful for you. And you keep joining daily. Even if you get delayed also, no problem, because anyway, we have excluded this time. 65% is there. It's almost, half of the time there is this presentation is there, because you are daily attendant and you are aware of the speakers. So even if you join late also, that will suffice. But inaugural you have to attend, and valedictory you have to attend. And sometimes, that 65%, in that we are also excluding. See, we are most considerate. I think even if I come to you also, you will not consider so much. But we are very considerate. We are giving opportunity. And if you yourself are very genuine and you see who all got certificates, we are very considerately giving only. So it is up to you, for your interest only. So do formalities, complete formalities, and join it, and ensure that you are getting maximum benefit out of it. So it is mandatory. On every page you will find these details. And for e-certificate related queries, we have already informed that we are not entertaining any queries on phone or WhatsApp. So no replies will be given, because it's wasting lots of our time. So all these details, what are common mistakes that are occurring, we have all listed out. Whatever we found out in the process, why this is happening, we have listed out all this here. definitely 99.9%, if anyone is not receiving certificate, then definitely something has happened, something has gone wrong in these things. So that is sure. That's why I was telling you, even we will have every month once or somewhere one open day where we will discuss if you have case or if you have attended someday, by not following these formalities only, you are getting yourself into troubles. So these, if you just go through it by yourself, you will understand where you have gone wrong. So let's not assume anything. Read and follow instructions. That will help us, both of us. And we have our own rules and regulations, guidance, and everyone has to follow. Even if I come to your organization also, I need to follow the instructions. So I will follow as per that. There is no big and small person. Everyone has to follow. So follow them. And everything is mentioned on the website, transparent, no need of asking, no need of reminding. While registration, you are not contacting us. While attending, you are not contacting us. And at the time of certificate also, you should not contact us, because anywhere you are not contacting us, you are registering yourself, you are attending yourself, and you should be able to get certificate by yourself. The entire process is automatic, systematic. You need not contact us for anything as long as you are following the system. But only the problem when it comes to certificate is you don't read this. All instructions are there here. So you don't read the instructions, you don't follow the instruction. That's why you keep daily messaging, where is my certificate? How can I download certificate? If you read the flyer, if you read the message which we are sending, all details are there in that. You don't have 1 minute for you. And how do you expect other person to give some time to you? If you don't respect yourself, why other person will respect you? If you don't give time to yourself, why other person will give time for you or your problem or your issue? So we need to take time for our development. When we are attending, you need to go read entire formalities, what are instructions given. It will take one time only, because these are daily events which are being organized for more than, we are organizing for many years, and this Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav will be there for another 1 year. You spend 1 day or half day, read, go through the entire website, see what is there, and read it. And once only, you are doing it once, and once you are familiar with everything, and you need not worry. Anytime you can visit, you can download, and you can just, in case sometimes, there is a human error. So if you still find that I have complied with everything and you are sure, you can use this form to download, to make a request. But, these things are there always. So we will check that. We will check all these, and any new things we are finding also, we are updating this list also. What are common mistakes that are being done? So we will update it. And if you are still eligible, we will issue definitely. If you are not eligible, we will not respond. We will not do anything. We'll leave it. So it's a time of wastage of time and resources. So this is what happens. I need not explain also. Many people do not bother to explain also, but I am telling because I am genuine. Whatever we are doing are genuinely, wholeheartedly we are doing sincerely. That's why we are explaining all these details. And when contacting also, I told many times, I get a lot of messages, or, for that matter, they just send me message, certificate link, feedback link. How would I know who are you? Without you being in contact, you have to properly introduce yourself. People who don't even bother to introduce themselves. There is a format here mentioned. You introduce yourself properly along with your contact details. And, we need to check again in the database. So that's why we are asking you these details. So what's your Zoom name? See, in the participant list, there is some other name, or it's not as your name. Again, that is problem. So that's why we are asking you by what name you have joined in the Zoom, so that we can map that attendance and registration data to that. Sometimes that is not there. So daily webinars are happening. It's not like that yearly once event is there, and anyway, by just receiving a message from you, I can assume that yearly once only we will do that you have attended that event. This is daily event. Daily events are happening. I don't know which event you are asking about. So it's a common sense for everyone to provide these details along with your webinar date, title, if you have, because sometimes two webinars are happening, morning and evening, or morning, afternoon and evening. So you need to mention which webinar you are talking about. And have you registered for that or not? These simple questions, if you answer yourself, then you will get your answers. Have you attended all the sessions? You just see whether at what time you have joined and what time you have left, and whether you have fill the feedback of form or not. So these are mandatory things. If you have not done anything, then you are not getting a certificate. So in spite of that, yeah, mistakes can happen. Still, if you provide all these details, we can help you, because there is a time frame we have set within 15 working days. So if you are genuinely contacting us with all due respect and compassion, we are there to help you. We will try to see, and if you match, details are matching, then we will issue. Even without feedback form also, we have issued certificates. So we are very considerate, but only thing is you have to be very respectful, and you should value your time and also our time. If you just simply keep on messaging, that will never, you will end up with a disappointment, and you are only going to be at a loss. We are not going to gain anything, lose anything. If you want a benefit, you have to be very patient. You have to be considerate, and you have to wait. You have to put efforts, because when we are out of system, it is our duty to get back into system, and there will be always an extra effort. So follow the procedures. That will help you to gain more certificates, more knowledge. If you don't want certificate, you forget about all these things. Just join whenever you want, attend and leave. Only if you want certificate, you need to follow all these. Many are there who just attend for the sake of knowledge. They don't even apply for certificates. They provide feedback also. They don't provide feedback also. No problem. But if you are looking for certificate, then ensure that you are following these procedures. Simply register every day before joining or immediately after joining. Register immediately. We are sharing the link also every day, chat box, in case we forget also, because we have a lot of things managing simultaneously. You just leave a message, sir, kindly share today's registration link. Of course, that link is same every day to avoid this inconvenience, and for us also to reduce work. So you can save that registration link also, no problem. Every day from morning, you just from the day start, anytime you register yourself, or after coming also you register, and then you attend session and you can leave. At the time of leaving, you can fill the feedback form. See, one more thing I am telling, the feedback form link is also same. You need not daily come look for a different feedback, but by filling feedback form at whatever time you want, that will not serve the purpose. See, again, for the convenience of everyone, I'm telling you openly that feedback link is also same for all the events, and registration link is also same for all events. But merely just filling the feedback form without attending will not give you certificate. You need to attend that, and because that will be compared with again Zoom attendance and registration data. So if you are not attending, even if you fill the feedback form also, there is no use. We have seen many, we have just dropped out many such identified such entries also, those who have not attended, and even they are not attending and they are filling daily also, they are filling. They haven't attended even months also, but At that they see the time where they say in between 6 to 8, there are people who are daily filling also without attending. Now what I have to do with them? You only tell me. We talk about so many ethics, morals, values, and you are so much educated, qualified, and you are doing like that. What kind of integrity, what kind of a person you are by yourself? Now tell me. I have all this. I will open one day when we put this open day. I will show that also. No problem. Because anyway, it's transparent now. Why to hide? I will open that Excel sheet and I will show you. You know now how many participants are there today. You see, you take a screenshot and I will tomorrow, some of the day, I will show you the feedback data. Now you yourself will realize why we are taking so much time. For verification, so much time is involved. For verification, we need to check each and everything. Initially, we were blindly trusting everyone and giving certificates and everything. But a lot of these things are coming up to our notice. Then we have to be very cautious now, because you are putting so much time, we are putting on so much time, and people who are not even attending, they are taking certificates without anything, any effort. So these are the issues we are there. So that is there. And one more new feature we have introduced today itself. So some of our friends were asking for, we don't want all these lengthy procedures. So still everything is free for those who want they said, we don't want this lengthy, the main purpose is to identify a participant. So they themselves suggested, some of them, to have a paid registration, or they said, because nothing comes for free. If you required, you put a person, you employ a person and dedicated person. Like some of participants also called me, they were saying, sir, you are doing so much of effort, but sometimes for us also filling long forms, I understand, because that is required, because not everyone is attending all the sessions, and some session they just go off, so we will not have detail of that. So they also understand. So what they said, they suggested, many has suggested, to have an unique identification once we will register for one time, and you kindly allot us one number. So keep the form short, so that we will just enter that number properly, so that you can map that number. So instead of typing name, organization details, and all these things, you again also take name, email address, phone number, and like keep it short, with less than 5 or 10 fields, not a very big form like we are having. So based on the suggestions, we thought, okay, let's see, try that also, no problem. So what we have done is, we started, today only we even not informed everyone, but just today only we have thought, okay, let's have that system in place, but it will take some time. Maybe after 16th, once these holidays are over, we'll set up this system. But this is going to be a paid thing, because we also, we also need to put one person for that and regularly monitor and do the work. So that is an additional expense, and some are willing. Still, all services will be free. You need not pay anything for the free services. Only those who want these premium services, for them, we are planning something to meet these expenses, to pay for him or her who is going to be appointed for just this. This is a special premium desk we are starting only for those, that will be those who are, they voluntarily said they will pay something, and we need some dedicated customer care or desk where, we don't want to trouble you. You put someone, and we'll pay something for his expenses or her expenses, whatever is there, because no one will come and work for free now. They also need to change. So they said, they will say, they will pay something. Though we haven't yet worked out on those things, we'll see we just are inviting people who can voluntarily come and take up this activity. If they come for free, then we'll not charge anything also for that. If we have to employ someone, then whatever the expenses there, we will divide among that. So we thought we will offer that services. So in that, what we are doing is, actually what they have shared, I will let you know first. So they said, we can have an unique registration number, and in the registration form, feedback form, you kindly provide that field where we will provide that number, because with that number, you can also take all the details, but that's one-time registration. That form we will fill up, and we'll provide all our ID proof, address proof, photo, whatever required. Even if you think you require in future also, we'll provide all ID, address proof also, photo also, and all our, if you want our qualification certificates also, we will give you, sir, at once only. One time we will give you, and every time, instead of filling all the details. Now, anyway, you have all our details. So kindly make it a very short form, simple form, where for members only, you continue with both the forms, regular form, and for members, a separate registration form and feedback form, where members, we will just enter our membership number and basic details like name, email address, phone number, and we will select the date also. Like I explained them that registration form, feedback form also is same. So they said you can have the same. You just put like you are doing, sir. You just put date, on which date, and otherwise you can put along with date, topic or something. You decide best. You are the best person to decide. You put 1, 2, 3 fields wherever required, so that it is easy for you to understand, issue certificate. So where we will be putting some fields like webinar date and webinar topic, and timings or something like that. We'll see, work out on that. And so they want a very simple form, simple process, and they also don't want to register daily with that long forms. They said we will just enter our membership number, and simple, not exceeding 5 to 10 fields. So they requested that. So we are trying to implement them. So for that, you can go there. You need not again enter all these details. You need to carefully fill up the membership number and basic details like name. Sometimes membership number, you can mistakenly type something else. So to cross check and ensure that it is only yours only. So basic details like maybe additionally a name and email address and phone number we may ask every time along with your membership number. And then you have to select the webinar date, registration for which webinar or conference, date, and along with that, feedback form also will be very short like that. You just need to fill up these details and select the webinar date and webinar title and just provide your feedback. So we are simplifying the entire process because already they have details and unique registration number is there. Even if you want it anytime, we can go back to our database and check that. So no need of again. So this was the suggestions given by some of our regular participants, those who watch on YouTube and various other places also. So on their suggestion, we also felt, okay, if they are supporting, we can also go ahead and see on a pilot basis. So we have planned to go ahead with that thought, and maybe in a week's time, we will come up with that. And we will let you know whatever charges, to meet that expenses. We'll put it on website openly. So maybe they suggested we can have 1 year, we can have yearly, and yearly we'll pay per day like that, or something. We'll fix something, sir, as per whatever is there. So accordingly, you see what are the, on cost. They said you can charge extra also, and that will help you to minimize the expenses. But I said, okay, let's see first. We will find from our circle only. If someone is willing to contribute voluntarily, come and work for daily 1 or 2 hours. We will see it will be free only, or if we have to employ someone part-time or full-time, we will add those expenses, I said. So we'll let you know in a week's time. Tomorrow I will inform in our circles. I'm informing you also. So someone, if you know also willing to contribute some time, who can look over of all these things and can be an helping hand, you can also inform them. So this is one service where you will not get rid of all these lengthy forms, and it is very easy. Verification also will become easy for us. And we just even if you don't have that, even with Zoom also, they themselves told we will just log in with our, instead of names, with our membership number, so that will also become easy, or we will add that number to our name. So maybe we have to see, they have said, but how well that will go in implementation, we'll see. So this is one opportunity. So if you want premium services also, see, free services will be there forever. No need to worry about that. This is only for those who just want to, have a very quick this thing. We'll see, we'll let you know. Anyway, I'm on website, so I'm showing this new feature here. So that's how you can download your certificates. Hope after this you might have got confused. So let me show you. Just click on the schedule and visit whichever date you have attended, today's date. And just below that, you will find the link to download your e-certificate. Here, Google Drive link will be there. You can download it. If you have any doubts about e-certificates, if you want to read, there is a link on every page. You can click it and you can read all the instructions here. Everything is on website. No need to contact us at any point in time. Only for speakers, because they need to send their photo, PPT, and all those things. And sometimes we may miss out because some of them are sending in last minute. So it is sometimes, so that's why we tell them to share in WhatsApp as well as email. Because WhatsApp also many messages will be getting, sometimes we may overlook. So in email, WhatsApp we can see, and anything is missing, we can immediately tell them so that they can send it to email. From email, we will verify and prepare flyer and other things, and we'll issue. See, there are a lot of processes involved. It's not just a simple thing. Organizing is not so easy. It's not just like getting the one or two speakers and preparing flyer in mobile and taking and creating a link for certificate and issue, whoever comes, whoever doesn't come. What is the purpose? I don't understand doing all these things. So that's all. Thank you for joining us, and hope still you have any queries, you can go ahead, ask me. We are very transparent, nothing, everything is open. We are like open book. Everything is open on website. You can go visit, just follow the instructions, attend, keep attending, keep sharing. You also can join, invite your friends, experts who have, and let's have, don't worry, we are not worrying about this thing. Anyway, if we have to put on YouTube also, even if we have to record, that will be also a single person. So in this way, if 4 or 5 people also join, that will benefit will be there. And again, this is anyway on the YouTube live. So whoever wants later also, they will come and visit, and they can leave. So anyway, the purpose is serving many purposes, and many times it is getting magnified. So thank you once again for giving your time. Hope you got how to download your certificate. But the person who asked to show has left. This is the problem. They ask and they don't have patience also to listen. Anyway, It's up to them. So thank you, everyone. Take care. See you for tomorrow's session at the same time. And the joining link is also same. Take care. Good night.